Okay, it's recording.
Yay!
Uh, so this is more a chat
Uh-huh.
for me more than anything. I wanted to reach out first to get to know you, but also get some insights into how you're running business and the stories behind how you got to this point.
Sure.
Um, I'm recording this and hopefully I can extract bits of information or insights that I can share with our community. But mainly, this chat is for me to, I guess, further understand about your
Yeah.
business.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
thanks.
So, when I posted the Instagram post about businesses struggling in this economy and so many are closing down,
Mhm.
you left a comment under that post, and it really stood out because to me, it was a very different kind of comment in the sea of, exhaustion,
Mhm.
resentment. And yours said that your business is doing well, but
Yes.
not after, smooth sailing. There's been a lot of ups and
Oh,
downs
my word, yes.
to you to this point, and I would really love to dive into that. So,
Okay.
before we get started into that, would you like to kind of talk a little bit about yourself and your business at this point? So,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so I am finally in a good point right now for me that I don't have to do so much of the day to day. I get to do the part that I love, which is the decorating, and I've built a team around me that I don't have to answer the emails or do all of the daily grind, which I think is probably a reason I'm more refreshed than a typical owner. But it took 15 years to get to this spot. So I did scratch and claw my way here, and especially running through COVID. Oh my word, it was ridiculous. But yeah, I was a one-man team for a little while through COVID. So, and that was a little bananas. And but I'm lucky enough we rode out the storm and I was able to build an amazing team, and I get to do the fun things of decorate which cake I want and to generate our social I pretty much do our social media, and I love it because it's just another form of art to me, especially on Instagram.
It's refreshing to hear a cake business owner say, "Oh, I love it," So I'd love to find out more about your current business. So what do you sell right now?
Sure. So when I first started the bakery, I started as a home baker for a few years and I only did cakes, and I realized I wasn't going to sell case cakes. Every cake in my shop is a custom cake. And so I realized that a lot of people in my area weren't used to that kind of setup. So I began making cupcakes and brownies and cookies and things like that to have something in the bakery for them when they came in, because I knew they were going to be shocked that I just didn't have cakes lying around. So we sell a whole array. I always say anything that makes you fat and happy, I probably make it and we sell it. And, I love all of those things we love and we make. And then the bread and butter for us, though, would be our custom cakes and our custom sugar cookies. Those are the things that's my passion, and so that is really the nuts and bolts of the business. Everything else is just coming along. It's beginning to take I would say right now it's probably 60-40, 60 for cakes. So, but we
Oh,
do
okay.
wedding cakes,
So,
custom cakes, carved cakes, all the whole shebang.
yep. So, if I understand right, you have a bakery physical location where people
Correct.
can walk in and
Absolutely.
buy little baked treats on the
Correct.
spot. They
Yes.
could also order custom cookies and custom cakes for whatever occasions they want.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And those you don't have any restrictions as to like you do weddings, birthdays, like whatever people want, you make.
Correct. You got it.
Yeah. Okay. That to me sounds like such an operation, hence why you have a team, right?
Correct.
Because, trying to do that as a one-man band, uh, is crazy, right? It sounds crazy, but
I
was there
nearly
any
drove it into
point
the ground trying to do it that way.
Yes, so that was my question. So was there any point that you did that? So you did do all of those options when it was just you?
I did, right after COVID, um, of course, during our state, was the first one to shut down in the US, and our governor was very like, "We're not gonna be anywhere near each other forever and always." So we shut down, and we were shut down for almost a year, at least 9 months. And so my employees, I'm like, I understand if you need to go find something else, or, work from home or do something else. And so my employees ended up leaving, which was fine. And I get it. Um, and so I was doing everything on my own. And eventually we were allowed to do curbside again. So I was taking the orders, baking them, decorating them, and standing outside and delivering them to cars as they drove through during COVID. And it was overwhelming, and I had negative reviews piling up, and I thought, "This isn't working. This isn't going to be able to work." But I was so scared to hire someone because I just didn't know, like, is this gonna happen again? Are we gonna get shut down again? And I really didn't have any reserves left at that point, financially. We kinda used them all up, keeping things going. I mean, because our rent and things like that didn't stop just because COVID shut us down. So I was still paying those monthly bills. But, we decided to take a risk and use that time to pivot, and, we did, and luckily it worked out.
Yep. So when you were going through that period with COVID, how many was it you and how many team members? Or at this point you were
7.
just doing that?
I had
So
7.
yeah,
Yeah.
wow. And how many do you have now?
I have 8,
Wow.
but
Yeah.
this is the first time that I've had full-time team members that I pay their insurance, I pay their cell phones, they have unlimited vacation. I feel good. I'm able to do more now than I was able to do before. That makes me very happy.
Yeah, that sounds that I can imagine the feeling of being able to, just knowing that your business is doing well, but not just
Yes.
doing well for you and your family, doing well for your team. You can take care of
Absolutely.
them
And they're
in that
amazing
way.
people. I've lucked out so much.
Wow. Yeah. Because I used to have a cake studio and I had team members as well. So I can relate to, how important that would feel. Like I know that, as you run a business and you pay people, a lot of people tend to stress about the expense.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, having a human being that has your back and then being able to pay them back in a way that
Yes.
takes care of them,
Yes.
I relate to that feeling immensely. So, where are you now in terms of your day to day job? Like you as the business owner, what do you do?
So, last year, my one full-time employee was actually the first hire that I did after COVID. So she's been with me 5 years, now. I asked her to be part of the business. So I actually brought her on as a business partner. So, because she was already so bought in, and she's really great at organization. I'm horrible at that. And so she runs the day to day. She does the inventory, the, emails and new items going in and out. And I get to come in and be the face of it. Make silly videos on Facebook and decorate the most beautiful cakes. My inbox is a big stack of cakes and I love it. And so I'm at the part that I'm able to live my passion again. I'm not bogged down by all the things that I'm not good at anymore. But she's really good at those, and we're a great pair. So, yeah, for me, I normally work 5 days a week in there. Last week was bananas. We had one of our busiest weeks we've ever had. So I probably put in 50 hours last week, but typically on average, I'm working about 30 hours a week. So not, it's not too shabby.
Wow, it literally sounds like you're living the dream life of
Right
someone who
now,
would love to have a cake business, you know?
it's
I
amazing. I'm lucky.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Like, I find it incredibly interesting that you had someone in your business that you could realize the value of.
Mhm.
And so, you didn't want to, this person obviously was very important and you didn't want to let her go.
Not ever.
And and so you offered her the partnership in the business. That's a huge thing, but that also takes a lot of uh business acumen
Thank you.
to be able to recognize that. And, because to me personally, I've had a business partner before, and having another business partner would scare me, you know?
Okay,
So can
so
you talk
it's
me through that
yes,
in your
well, when
decision?
I first opened the bakery, I brought on a business partner and I had no sense about business. I just thought, oh, open a cake shop. How hard could it be? I was so naive and ridiculous. And I was just like, oh, we're best friends. Let's do this. And hindsight's 2020. And gosh, that was 15 years ago. I'd like to think I've learned a little since then. And she only lasted about 4 years. And she was like, "This isn't for me. I'm gonna go back to being a lawyer." I was like, "That's great." So, I went all of that time without a business partner, but I was really scared because it's like a marriage, right? So when they leave, it's like a divorce almost. Even if it's
Yeah.
amicable, it's still weird after. And, I was so nervous about bringing Jack on because I really valued her as a person, and I know that even with the best intentions, it gets hairy, it gets crazy, and I decided I was going to invite her on, um, and give her 20 she has 20% of the business, and I retained the rest, and that made me feel a little bit better because no matter what, I still have a huge majority, and that for me was a little bit of a security blanket. I trust Jack with everything, or Jacqueline. I call her Jack, but I trust her with everything. But just for me personally, I wanted that security blanket of having 80% because I know what could happen, and I want to protect everything that I've worked on for so long.
Yeah, of course, it's your business.
Yes, it
Um,
came out of my mind.
and it's here because of your hard work. So, um, yeah, I think to me, I see you bringing on the business partner as an important step for your growth. But
Yes.
to get to that point, it's your business and your hard work.
Mhm.
Um, so, the thing, it's like a marriage, it is, because it is a relationship,
It
right?
is.
And it's like we get into relationships also being scared of what if we're not compatible?
Mhm.
What if this ends? And like a divorce, you've got
Yeah.
assets to divide. In
Yes.
this case, there's 20%. Um, so what process, or did you go through a thought process where you had a pros and cons, and then eventually you decided, okay,
Sure.
this is a well weighted decision?
So when I first brought Jack on, um, it was in 2021, and I had a terrible habit, and my husband calls it selling out of my own pocket, meaning I would only price something of what I thought I could afford versus what it was worth. And I think as the creator and founder of the business, that is something I still have a hard time getting over because I don't know, I think I have imposter syndrome. I never went to school for this. I just I love art. So when I bought Jack on, when she came on, she looked at all my prices and she's like, this is crazy. And this is before she was a business partner. She's like, Shannon, you're not making any money. You're giving things away. And I was, and she was right. And so she was able to come in. And I couldn't even tell you right now. If you ask me how much a 6, 8, 10 cake was, I would not be able to tell you because that's not my strong suit. And it makes me nervous thinking about how much money we charge for our cakes. But Jack is great at that. That's her strong suit. And I just knew that without someone to do that, I was still going to continue to run my business into the ground. So while Cake Open Love wouldn't be here without me, it wouldn't be running the way it is and maybe even still be in business without her. So that's her ownership of it. She turned it around and made us very profitable. And, for the first time in a long time, I don't have to worry on payroll or buy the extra stuff or stock up or the fridge went out. Let's just go buy a new fridge. And those things are like, whew. And they help me sleep and help me enjoy cake again because I don't have all those other things. And so I wouldn't have my joy if I didn't have her.
That's so it sounds to me like, this is the thing that I see a lot of cake makers start businesses with. And this is something that I always reflect on because I'm one of those people. Like I love the making of it. I hate the running of it.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And, unfortunately, in this type of business, it's either you need someone like your Jack, or you somehow need to split yourself, right? So that
Yes.
you have two split personalities where if you're running things that you cannot have your artistic identity connected
No.
to it. And if
Mm-mm.
but if you're making, you cannot have the numbers in your head because that restricts you from
It
actually creating.
does. It puts such a hinder. You're like, is this worth what I charged? Or
Yeah.
I didn't charge enough and I really want to add this element or what have you.
The self-doubt comes in because then
Oh,
you start going,
absolutely.
no one's going to fund this vision, so I can't execute whatever's actually.
Exactly.
And then that feeds into each other. And so we can see if someone's doing this by themselves, or even if they have a team but they don't have someone that could offer what Jack's doing for you.
Right.
It's literally like a vicious cycle of self. I wouldn't call it self-sabotage either because it's like it's not their fault because you're not meant to do these jobs in
Right and
one
left
person.
brain people are completely
Yeah.
different.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love that we've gone on to that because that's the thing that I'm trying to articulate for the broader
Hmm.
um collective is that, you know, it's at the end of the day, it's still a business. And
Yes.
in order to have a successful business, you know, you have to have business perspectives.
Yes.
But if the business is selling artistic creative products, then you need the creative makers.
Yes.
And those two jobs are for two different people. Would you agree?
Oh my word. Yes. Yes. Since
S-
I've had Jack on, I can't it is so exciting for me to go into work every morning again. Like I get to sit down and I have my list of like 20, 30 cakes that I'm working on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to do that one. Or, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And Jacqueline will turn around because her desk is close to my table and she'll say, you're going to love this order I just took for you. And it just, I don't know, it's infectious and exciting again for me. And that is really because I had to let go of some of it. I just couldn't do it. And I'm not good at it. So I had to let that part go.
Yeah. I feel the excitement for you because
Thanks.
it's literally it's literally my dream. If I could just turn up to work and do whatever creations I want to do and not worry about the money coming in,
Wouldn't it be
and the
so
money's
nice?
coming in. I know. And it's paying your staff and you don't have to worry about it, you know? That is literally
Yes.
the dream setup.
It is, and it took a long time to get here, so I think I'm savoring it even more
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
it wasn't that long ago that I was like, "I think I might have to sell a kidney before I make payroll," so
Oh, that is so stressful, the payroll thing. It's
it's
stressing about
insane.
your income is one thing, but like not being able to pay people or
Yes.
yeah, it's huge.
Yes. That is for me, I forwent pay for about 3 years, building it back up after COVID, um, because I wanted to be able to pay people enough that they felt valued, and along with paying people, we take trips. I've taken everyone out of state, and we went and stayed in a haunted hotel, and or we go, Saturday after work, there's a little hole in the wall place, and I buy everyone dinner and drinks, and because I think a paycheck is great, but I do recognize that they could get a paycheck other places. So I want them to also feel valued, as a person contributing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that
Yeah.
you staff, your employees are your biggest asset.
Oh, that's y y
Yeah, your people,
yes.
your biggest investment has to go into the people.
100%. What and so before I ever give myself more money, I divvy up raises for everyone first. And then once we hit we'll set a goal, and if it's sustainable after 6 months, then I bump my pay. So
Wow. So again, this conversation's like really opening my eyes because I've been in your position before with teams and stuff, but I'm speaking from my fears
yeah.
because of my experience in terms of like I also had that uh, perspective that I want to make the people feel valued,
Yes.
but in the way that I did it, I think it became too much, like too nice. So then
Mhm.
not I'm still not the owner of the business. I become their
Mhm.
friend. So when it came time for me to make hard decisions to let someone go, it felt really personal. And then they
Yes.
also took it very personal, you
Yes.
know?
I
And so
yeah.
that is another fear of mine, having employees again, because it always feels so personal
And
to
I
me.
think it's almost impossible to avoid that. And w- when I brought Jack on, we made a flow chart for the bakery. Even though I am the be all end all boss, like the end of it, for them, their immediate boss and everything they need goes through Jack. Um, so if there's ever a need for a write up or something like that, it goes through Jacqueline. But in return, she also is the one that's able to give them raises. And so there is a little bit of a buffer for me in that respect. um Again, oh my gosh, every bakery needs a Jack because I suck at being a boss. I suck at it because I would go home and cry before I let someone go. And Jacqueline's like, You don't just let them go. You write them up and we log it and we move about our business." And that's her strength, not mine. And so I just kind of cower behind her. I don't know if that's good or bad. But that's how we've set it
That
up. And it seems okay right now.
that was gonna be my next question, not to put any doubt in your mind, but like to me, this is a really great setup. But as humans, again, like we're looking at relationships, right? Like it's like when you're a bit dependent on someone, there's always, to
Yeah.
me, a fear of like, so if we look at your business and if Jack wasn't in the equation, it's a bit tricky because the person needs to feel like they're valued because they don't want
Correct.
to feel like they're replaceable. But from the business perspective, you also need to know that they are replaceable, right? Because otherwise, if they
Yes.
leave,
And I
you're
mean, it is incredibly scary to think that if Jack left, I'd really be up the creek until I found someone to replace her. And I really don't know. She's a dang unicorn. I really don't know that I could ever find just one person that does what she does. So I treat her incredibly well. We've become incredibly close. We see each other every day. We actually go on vacations together now. I call her my sister wife because my husband's always helping her out because she's a single mom, and but it is scary, but also I cannot grow without it. And so it's a risk. Just I almost like even opening the bakery was a risk. Relying so hard on someone is a risk, but I it's worth it to me to be able to keep the bakery and have my joy back.
I think from my perspective versus yours, uh, I think what I'm getting out of your experience, what you're saying is there's always fears, right? In anything
Oh,
that you do,
yes.
there's always fears. But if you let those fears stop you from doing the thing that you know will help you grow or
Right.
get to the next stage, you'll be
You're
forever stuck in
stagnant.
whatever spot. Yeah. Yeah.
And then you begin relying on things like, I'm going to post a ton on Instagram and hopefully someone will see that because I don't have the time to invest in marketing like I should because I'm too busy making all the things so I can post all the things and eh, yeah, you just become stagnant and then you lose your joy of anything that you're doing. It's a have to, not a get to. And that kind of sucks.
Yeah. And
That's a horrible place to be.
that's when you start throwing spaghetti at the wall and,
Absolutely.
hoping something sticks because you don't have the bandwidth to sit down and actually make sound
Correct.
decisions. Yeah, because
Yes.
you're so stretched.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very fortunate. I mean, and it's only been 5 years, but my word, and she's got such a even before I even offered her business, she would talk about things like, I wonder like how we could start a retirement fund from here. So I knew for her, she was looking long term. This was her end game. This is what she wanted to do and she loved it. And so um, yeah, so it was pretty easy after 4 years, and I saw that she just kept working harder and harder, that it was easy for me to go ahead and offer her that.
So in terms of, long term, because, Jack's obviously in it for the long haul. In terms of your business right now in this economy, obviously you are doing well
Yes.
and you have been doing well in the last 5 years. Am I
Yes. It's been
correct?
going up
Yes.
every year we've been growing.
Okay. So it's actually an upward projection. So the economy
Yes.
right now is not affecting your business. Your business is actually growing.
Yes, and I mean, could it
Yes.
be growing more? Maybe, but am I growing more than I've ever grown? Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's not a case for you per se where, because this is the sentiment right now is that, there's cost of living crisis, people are cutting down on spendings, therefore some businesses are experiencing like a drop in
Yeah.
sales, a drop in inquiries, but that is not the case for your business.
Well, I think a little bit of that has to do with when I first started the business, philanthropy is to me is a vital part of my business. If I was going to be a small business and wanted people to come and purchase from me, then I needed to be that same way for my community. So, for example, during COVID, when our school shut down, I knew that around us there was a community that those children would not eat until dinner time because breakfast and lunch came from school for them. So I turned our bakery into a lunch packing facility, and we had restaurants that were getting rid of food because they weren't going to be able to serve them we were packing them into lunches, and bus drivers were coming and picking those up and running their routes and dropping lunches off to kids. Um, and we did that until I thought when school would let out. So we packed over 2,000 lunches. Um, and then we had a series of 5 tornadoes that came through, and they were devastating. So again, we opened up the bakery, we collected goods for them. I said, "Hey, if you guys need chargers," I packed peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, I bought board games in. So anytime things like that happen, it's almost now where people look at the bakery and they're like, "What's Cake Hope and Love gonna do?" And so I think that really, really helped me stay in the forefront of people's minds, because it's not just buying a cake. When they buy a cake, they know that they are giving shoes to homeless, to the shoeless. I mean, we've worked with Polished Girls, which is like an organization that goes and does manicures for little kids that are in the hospital being treated for cancer. And so they know that they don't have a positive way to plug in the community. They just don't know. It's just hard. So they know if they purchase from me or they support me, then they're supporting those things. And I think for them, that's also important. So it came back tenfold on me, because I don't think people forgot that, and they haven't. And so they just keep returning to us. And I think that helped. That really helped for me. And so like we are right next to one of the largest military bases in the country for us, and that's a lot of our customers are military, and they shut down. There was a huge shutdown for us. It was almost 3 or 4 months, and that those people were not getting paid. So we started a community cake co-op, and so we had people donate money, and we put it all in a separate bank account. And then anyone who needed a cake during that time, because kiddos are still having their birthdays and there's still anniversaries, we made cakes for no charge for all of those people. So they would just message us. And so I think we're fortunate enough that people are excited about plugging in. And so we're one of the first places people think about, because not only are they getting a tasty treat, they get to do good too. Does that kind of
Yeah,
make
wow.
sense?
Yeah, yeah, that you pretty much, what you've done is what I've just spoken about recently on Instagram, is that you build community, because the
Absolutely.
community is what keeps your business alive,
Absolutely.
right? And this is why, we were talking about just people panic posting, hoping that someone
Yes.
would come, because that is not connection. You're not connecting to an actual community. So,
Right.
yeah, I love it, because I was wondering why your business was called Cake, Hope, and Love. But it makes so much sense, because it's more than just cake. The things that you
Absolutely.
do really resonates with what you stand for, the
Yes.
name of the business. And,
Yes.
you know, I can tell that you didn't do it with a business motive in mind. Oh, if I
No.
do this, I'm going to get this in return. It's literally out of who you are,
Yes.
wanting to reach out and do that for the community. But in
Absolutely.
return, like you said, they always think of you because you're always there,
Yeah.
which is something that I think a lot of people either don't understand because they haven't experienced it, or they
Right.
don't, or they've forgotten, because we're so online, we're so um, attached to engagements and views and
Yes.
virality, that is still not real community.
I 100%, like, my husband's like, you need to post more on Instagram. And I do need to be more consistent. But I told my husband, I said, while some people do find us on Instagram occasionally that are local, Instagram is casting a really wide net. And are those actually going to turn into dollars? Mm, maybe, maybe not, unless you're gaining a huge crowd and you're getting paid for your posts. But that's not how I use it.
Yeah, that's a
So,
completely different direction in how you use
yes.
social media. Yes, yeah.
Yes, and our Facebook, I even though Facebook is dying, our Facebook somehow retains all this engagement. We have like over 22,000 followers now on Facebook. And I think our last reach, when I was looking at our last things like last month, we have over 250,000 people that are engaging with us on Facebook. So I don't know, it's working, but I do videos and I think, why would someone watch this video? And because it's me talking about like when I did a sensory deprivation tank and I was like, listen, people, or when I got stuck in my Spanx and I had to rip my underwear off through the crotch of my Spanx so I could go pee at this really expensive gala that I was at. Like, I just tell those stories and I think people are like, are you going to do another video? And I'm like, I don't know how much I want to humiliate myself, but they have so connected with me. I have been places and someone's like, "Are you the cake girl? Are you Cake Open Love?" "Yeah." She's like, "I recognized your voice from across the way. I just wanted to come say hi, and I too got stuck in Spanx and blah, blah, blah." Or, they and I love that. I love that. So, I don't know, people are addicted to crazy. I think it makes them feel a little less bad that I'm so disheveled too.
I think what I get from your energy, the energy that I get from you, even just from that first comment that you've left, is a lot of positivity. And I
Yes.
think that's what people are drawn to. And you might not know it because you're just being yourself and you're living your life, but that comes off you.
Oh.
This is very interesting because I also just wrote a Substack about not emotionally processing through your business pages. A lot of
Mhm.
because a lot of people tend to complain about customers and but at the end of the day, I think what I realize in speaking to you is it's not so much don't share emotionally or don't share too much of yourself through your business, but it's more what energy comes off it. So, like you said, you shared your,
Absolutely.
embarrassing moments, but you're not complaining about it, right? You're bringing joy, you're bringing
Right.
connection. People find something positive in
They
those.
need some relief of their everyday life that's going on. And, our politics are bananas over here right now. Hey, bud. Hey, I'm doing an interview. Love you. My son just popped in. Um, and I think they just need some comic relief. Like they just need to relax. And this is a great way for them to do that. They can laugh
Yeah.
at my ridiculousness.
I think what's important too is because it seems like everything that you do is obviously coming from you, what you want to do. So if
Yes.
you're not comfortable with sharing your embarrassing moments, don't do it, right? Like if someone's
Right.
watching this and go, well, yeah, I get that they want relief or whatever, but I'm not comfortable doing that. Don't do it. Like I
Right.
think the lesson that I'm learning from you is it's got to come from whatever you want to do.
Yeah, be who
Uh,
you are because everyone's got something special to give. And I mean, otherwise you wouldn't be here, you know? Everyone's got something to share that is unique to them. And that is stupid awesome. And you should share it with the world.
it is really inspiring to yeah, it's this energy that I feel from you.
Oh, thanks.
It's for me, in this phase of my business where I'm, you know, the last 5 years for me since COVID, it's gone in a different way because I used to have colleagues and team members. I used to work with people in your environment, and then I've gone and redirected my business online. So
Mhm.
I've missed that connection. So now I'm like back to on my own. So
And I
I've
love
pruned
your
all.
posts. Your posts are so engaging and they're thought provoking. Like I had to sit and I was like, I have no do not contact me through DMs on my Instagram. Maybe I should move that. Like it's so it's eye-opening for someone who's in the middle of it. Sometimes I can't see those things, and so your questions and your posts are very thought-provoking.
Yeah. I think with the DMs thing, because Instagram and Facebook, they have functions where you can automate
They're together now.
messages and
Yes.
stuff, right? So, even if, yeah, so that's another thing. But what what I'm getting from this talk for myself is, I guess, where I'm at in my business, because it's like I'm back to me and figuring out, okay, what do I want to do? And the fears that I've told you I've had is, okay,
Mhm.
I fear having employees again
Yeah.
because of the stuff that comes with that.
Mhm.
I fear having a business partner again because of A, B, C, D, because I've experienced those two.
Yes.
But at the same time, I also know that if I want to move out of this spot that I'm in, that I would need that at some point.
It doesn't make it
So
any
it's
easier, just
no, but
makes it necessary.
you've inspired me to actually kind of step over that fear and go,
It's
okay,
hard.
I need a Jack. Like, I'm gonna do a
If
post
I
and
could
go,
split Jack up,
I
I'd be a
need a
millionaire
Jack.
because she's amazing.
Yeah. Reproduction.
Yeah, that's my new business venture.
But here's another idea for you. If Jack is so valuable in that way, you can add another income stream where you can teach other businesses, or
I have
even
pondered that.
in terms of Jack's system, or
Mhm.
the way that she approaches things, or things that you have in your business that um, makes it run the way that it does.
Yeah,
And I can help you with that, because obviously that is my
that's what
specialty.
you're doing. Yes.
Like, that's what I've been doing for years now. So yeah, if this, on another side note, if you guys want to explore that, I could definitely,
Okay.
sit down and have a few chat with you about that, because all you have to do even is, sell little worksheets or flow
Mhm.
charts, whatever, that would help. You don't have to do a whole entire big course like my courses. But yeah, that is something that you might want to
We'd
look
actually
at as
thought
well.
about it, um, because anytime a new business opens up, I don't know, maybe I'm just known as a pushover, but they'll come over, and even another bakery has come over, and I'm like, listen, any questions you have, ask me. There are definitely enough people in our city that we could both bake for, hours and still not cover everyone. So while of course there's competition, of course, but generally there's enough people to go around, so businesses will come in and I'll say, "Come on, let's have some coffee. Ask me anything," and I'll tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly because it. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how many times I've cried over cake, or I've just been laying on the floor in the bakery like at 3 o'clock in the morning, and why did I do this? This is stupid. But
Yep, I know. I know the feeling.
or I look
And
at a
then you
cake and I'm like, it
finish
looks like
it.
a third grader did this.
I know, and then someone sent, like, the same cake, the customer will be like, "I love it," and then you go, "Okay, I'll make another one," and then and then
Yes.
15 years later, you're still making cakes.
Yes. It only took that long. Oh, gosh.
Oh, I love it. I love it. But this is something you've just touched on, something that I think it's very important, that the cake industry seems to feel a little bit snobby about, is
Mm.
mentorship, and kind of the colleague, like, I guess because a lot of small businesses are on their own. So it
Yes.
just feels isolated. And when you're in
Mhm.
isolation, you just don't feel like you want to reach out or
And you feel like you're
whatnot.
fighting for all the scraps.
Yeah. But like, if I'm starting and I have someone like you who's saying, come talk to me, I'll tell you.
Mhm.
Like, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll pitch a tent. in your
Yeah.
front yard and you can tell me
And I'll
everything,
just be like,
and I
hey,
think
girl, we're going to cry for a while. We might have to drink to get through it. Like, you
that is
know,
so valuable,
it
um,
is.
that people, I don't know whether people think that they're not supposed to, or they're shy, but I just want whoever's, watching this later on to kind of switch that in their mind,
Hmm.
that, reach out, ask for help. And there might be businesses that go away, but
Yes.
there will be ones like you who would be eager to help someone starting out because you've been in that position and you've gone through it
Mhm.
and you've got all this wisdom and knowledge.
I have some wisdom and knowledge. I can tell them all the things that did not work. That's what I can do.
I think that is the main wisdom is, don't do
Yeah.
this. I've done this. I've wasted so
It's
much
very
time.
expensive. Don't do that.
Yeah. Because, to be honest, no one can predict the future. So
Oh,
telling
no.
you what to do to me isn't as valuable as telling you what I did wrong. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So, um, what's next for Cake, Love, and Hope?
We are actually in the process. We teach classes, and I am in the process of getting all my curriculum together. And I think I'm going to sell my curriculum as classes that other bakeries can teach in their place. I do like mommy and me classes, I do cake decorating, I do cookie decorating, and I do it all from a perspective of a home baker. So, like when people come into the bakery and they are taking a cake class, well, yes, they'll have a turntable and an offset. I also teach them to do things without all of the tools that a professional baker has, so they could go home and recreate these things. Like I teach them how to make a rose without a cutter using fondant, just your fingers, and all of the things that I had to figure out when I was a home baker. So I am teaching from that perspective, and I think that's a little bit different than like what some people are teaching. So I'm getting all my curriculum together from I don't know 8 years of teaching, and I might venture into that and maybe begin selling some of those. But we're getting ready. Our 2-year goal is to be in a bigger facility. We have way outgrown our little place, and so we need a much bigger place, and that is the scary thing for me. I've been putting it off and putting it off. It's impossible to not have it anymore. So that's my scary thing that I'm getting ready to do, is take on a lot of expensive moving into a much larger
Yeah.
place.
It feels like to me, things are like knocking on your doors going, dude, do this
Yes.
because we're giving you growth. And you're like, oh, but
I'm like,
I'm
1 minute,
scared. I know.
1 minute. Let me
Which
just
is
finish
so
this
normal.
first.
It's such a great place to be though, to have to make a decision, to choose something, even though that's scary, it just means more possibility than
Yes.
being in the spot where you feel stuck and things are not moving and you
And
don't
I
know where to
did
go.
feel like that for a while. And I think a lot, honestly, I was thinking about this call with you and about I think my husband and I counted like 13 businesses in the last year and a half. Other bakeries and small businesses like me have closed. And I was wondering, I was thinking like it's very, very hard. It's hard, especially in the beginning. Gosh, the first 4 or 5 years, you're just working unimaginable amounts of hours trying to get your name out there. You're making peanuts if you're making anything. And if it's just easier in this time where it seems a little more acceptable to just close, to just be done with it instead of persevering on, where pre-COVID or pre any of this craziness, it was almost unheard of for people to just close. Just like, hey, it's been really hard. We're gonna go ahead and close. They pushed, and I don't know if it's right or wrong or good or bad, but I do feel like now it seems more acceptable to just be like, it's really hard. Doesn't seem like it's working. I'm gonna be done with it. And it's in a culture now where we're like, man, that's really sad. Sorry to see you go, and it's done. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm also old, so maybe I just have a little more buy-in and a little more
You're
of the
not old.
oh my gosh, girl, I'll be 49 on
That's
my next birthday.
girl, my husband's 52 and he is not old, so
Okay,
you
girl,
are
I
not old.
love you. So,
You do not look old.
oh, I love you. You're great. So we can call every day about this time. It'll be wonderful.
Look, I'm getting so much out of this for me personally. I do not have any objection to that at all. I love your energy.
Thanks.
Um, so yeah, that is a very interesting point that you've raised because I wonder this too. 15 years is not a short time.
Mm-mm.
And you've gone through so many
Mhm.
roadblocks and setbacks. How do you not give up? What kind of guides you in those moments to say, I know that there is still something there worth pursuing
Because
instead
it's
of this is not
it
working anymore?
I think if I went in and I was able to do just cakes and I didn't find the joy in that, I would say this is done for me. Um, but I can't imagine going not getting the joy from going in and creating, and also creating a space for people to feel safe and come in and talk. I feel like the bakery is not just cakes. Like every employee that is there, it's been serendipitous. They needed to be there as much as we needed them there. Something has happened emotionally or what have you. Same for our customers. Like for example, one lady came in. My oldest son is autistic, and as a bakery, we do autism awareness and things like that. And and this lady comes into the bakery and she's sobbing. And I think, oh my word, there's been an accident, something's happened. And she said, someone in here has a son who has autism. Where is she? And I thought, oh my word, who is this? And I go out and it's this lady who's never been into the bakery. She just follows our page and she just had to sign her teenage son over to the state because she was unable to care for him because he was so large. She couldn't handle him anymore and he was hurting her other children. And she just needed some place to cry and hear that you're not a bad mom. You're not a bad person. You just needed more help. And I can't imagine taking away a space that people can do that in.
Wow, like the visual in my head is like you as a person with all these things inside you. There's so much love.
Oh, thanks.
That name is just yeah, love, hope, and it's like there's these things that connects outwards,
Yes.
but they all comes from you, and then those tentacles then forms, this circle of
Yes.
this ecosystem that feeds into each other that now gives you this world that you
It's
live in, right? This
purpose.
business. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Wow.
so it got to be where I was trying to do too much for everything because I'm a pushover. And so we have a motto that we keep people and families happy, healthy, and together. So those are the things that we encompass. And so that helps me narrow my scope because otherwise I'd be crazy. I'd be out with, I don't know, everybody doing stuff and helping everybody, and I'd never get anything done in the bakery. So I had to narrow my scope down. And but I think it works. I don't know. I'm convinced that if every small business picked up one part of the community that they wanted to love on and take care of, it would be amazing. I like all the small businesses would be like these beacons in the community and it would be so cool. So
Yeah,
I,
I
I'm
I
trying to
think
lead
that
by
too.
example.
Yeah. I think like what you said about pick one part of the community to
Hmm.
love on, and it makes me think of, like I said, you should be building community and loyalty and trust in your physical community, right? And
Yes.
people are feeling, oh, customers are hard to come by online.
Yes.
But let's say if you sell cupcakes and you just went to your kid's school, right, and either offered to make free cupcakes
Mhm.
for an event, or if there's a kid in your class that has a birthday and you offer
Yep.
to bring cupcakes for that kid, like, don't do that as marketing. Do that if you want to do that, but that is also
Yes.
outreach into the community where you
Yes.
can actually put your products in their hands with a
Yes.
lot of with a lot of love,
Like
right?
intention,
And
like good intentions behind
yeah,
them. Yes.
yeah, but like
Yes.
doing that with your time is better than trying to film process reels for 5 hours, editing for another
Yes.
2 hours, and then getting 200 views and then feeling really shit about it.
And you're like, "What is that
Um,
200 views doing for me right now?"
nothing,
Right.
nothing.
And I
Yeah.
feel like the cake community posts a ton of things to each other. And I'm like, "Well,
Yes,
that's
and that's
really
why
cool, but"
it's convoluted because you're isolating your customers at the same time. Because
Yes.
now they're like, "Oh, well, that's just a cake maker group," like you're not
Yes.
if you're not speaking to your customers, they don't recognize that your business is for them,
Right.
right? But there is a better way of speaking to your customers, and that is in real life.
Absolutely. Yes. Or yeah, and I think the best thing for us has been word of mouth. Like, hey, I got this cake from this bakery during the shutdown and it was amazing. And now they're a repeat customer. Um, those things come back to you, but also I love to be known as the girl who gives. Like, I don't know. That's kind of nice. I kind of love it. And
Yeah,
that for
yeah.
me, that is my high. That's my addiction.
Yeah. So your purpose, even though you love being creative and you're able to do that in your business, you get a lot more meaning and purpose out of this business from the wider community that you reach.
Oh,
It's not just
absolutely.
selling cakes for money. And that's
Correct.
why it feels, all encompassing and it's
Yes.
sustainable. And
Yes.
that's why you're able to push through the hard times because you're not just selling cakes for money.
Yes. My why
Yeah.
is outside of myself. Um, we used to tell our kids, like, if you come to something hard, you got to think of a why. Why am I going to do this? And if you think of it for yourself, it's so easy to let yourself down or to put yourself last. But if your why is something outside of yourself, then I'm not going to let those people down. I'm going to try really hard not to. So my why is definitely outside of myself.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Well,
Um, I would love to keep chatting. Um, maybe we do part two.
okay. I'm fine with that.
uh, but yeah, okay, let's talk about just one last thing.
Okay.
Um, when you say, new businesses that are coming up and you're like, come sit with me, I'll tell you let's say, what are the three things that you did that you've learned the hard way that you want new businesses not to do? That's a very convoluted way of wording that question, but,
But that's a,
you know,
I
yeah.
knew it. I think for me, number one, do not sell out of your own pocket. Um, that's still really hard for me. Um, to value my experience, like I can do a 4-tier Lambeth wedding cake in like 45 minutes. But also I've been doing it for 15 years. So selling, not charging what I think I'm worth, but actually charging for my experience and my knowledge, and so not selling out of my own pocket. That is the biggest thing. Um, your employees are your largest investment and also your largest expense. Um, don't skimp on that. Don't skimp on it. Yeah, don't skimp on that. And then for me is don't be a faceless business. Be a purposeful business. And
I
I
love
think
that.
purposeful for me is probably the thing that has sustained us most.
Yeah, Don't be a faceless business.
Mhm.
And, I'd like to kind of expand on that in that you don't have to be like your face connected to the business
Right.
literally, but the business needs to stand for something bigger than just the stuff that you're
Yes.
selling, right? So put a
Yeah.
face, put a personality, put a
Correct.
point of view to your business.
Yes.
What is this business doing in the world? You're not just giving people cakes,
Right.
right? What do
100%.
these mean? Yeah.
Yep.
And
Uh,
I think it's so full circle for you because like when you told me how you started the fun where you give free cakes to
mhm.
the kids that still needed the cakes for their birthdays and stuff. But that is what cake is about.
It's joy.
Yes.
Mhm.
And the money aside, yeah, I think it's very easy to kind of mesh this together in your head, but fundamentally it's very easy. It's like, okay, this is a business, you get paid for the labor and the value of the product, right? But this
Right.
product is deeper than,
Yeah.
so you got to separate that. You can't price it based on how you feel about it. Like they're
It's
two
so
separate things.
that's where my jack comes in handy.
Yes.
But, yeah, I mean, like, if you really think about it, and this may be hokey, but when they're looking back through photos, say my son brings home his first girlfriend, and they're looking back, they're gonna look back and look when he was a baby. There's a cake there. That's his first birthday. So, like in a small way, you're in every photo with these people, and when you become, we call them legacy customers. When you get a customer who's a legacy customer, it's
Every year,
amazing. Yes,
every year,
and
every
it's
celebration,
yes.
they'll come to you. Yeah, I had
And they
those
they come
and
to you
I
like you're their
yeah,
friend. "Hey, so and
yeah.
so's
You're
turning
like,
10."
yep. It's like, you know what that means? You're part of the
Yes.
family. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. I've been
I love that.
invited to weddings. Like, "Hey, when you drop the cake off, do you wanna stay?" I have been invited to cookouts. I got invited to, someone was, legally finishing their adoption, and I was able to go, and see their adoption. Like,
Wow.
yeah, it's just really cool. Like, you're not just the cake girl. You become like this friend, like Shannon, who happens to own that bakery. So,
Yeah. It's like a
yeah.
way of life. This is more than just a
Oh
business
my
for you.
word. Yes. It is
Yeah.
100% everything, everything.
Yeah. I think to me, that's what separates it from, like what you've built versus, and there's nothing wrong with this other side, but when someone starts a cake business thinking it's just going to give me some money
Yeah.
for a side hustle, that is much harder to sustain because
Mhm.
your goal is money. Nothing's wrong with that. But this is why I can help people with this. If money is your objective, right, then you got to take that business in a different direction.
Correct.
Profitability should be at the forefront of your mind. Hence why you would sell products like cookies and you sell 10
Like
different
mass
flavors and
producing.
and then you push production and that will give
Correct.
you what you want, which is money.
Right.
But if you think I'm going to start a cake business to satisfy my own artistic, creative needs, but I'd also need some money,
Mhm.
or a lot of money to quit my job, it, it's conflicted, and you can never marry those two.
It's
And
never going to be perfect, and it's always going to be evolving. Always. And there's going to be crazy things like COVID, like a huge government shutdown. I mean, I could have to have a huge surgery tomorrow, and some of our elaborate cakes may not be able, I mean, there's always something, but I don't know if you wait for the right moment, or when you think nothing's going to happen, you'll never do it.
mm, yeah, and it takes time. It takes
Oh my
grit.
word.
It takes effort,
Takes a
like
lot of
anything.
sleepless nights, and it takes a lot of sacrifice. I mean, good night. I remember just yeah, there was times I'm like, this is the stupidest idea I've ever had. I just want to close it. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't even like cake and blah blah blah. And those times can last for weeks, but um, I don't know. I think also as it evolves, you just for me, I get to look past it and I get to see the people. And plus, even standing in my bakery on a Saturday and all my employees are buzzing around and people are picking up their things. And I look and I'm like, I am sustaining their households. I get to pay them. And then these customers that come in, they found me and they like me and they're coming in. And I have to take a moment to breathe it in because it just came out of an idea in my mind in my kitchen at home all those years ago. And now it's this breathing, living organism, and sometimes I just have to, like, stop and take it in because yeah, it's overwhelming.
But I'll tell you, that's why it works for you as well, because in the rules of manifestation, gratitude is the biggest thing, right? And
Yes.
the you take it in and you look, it's how you look at it. You say you get to pay them and you're so grateful that you get to do
Yeah.
that. That energy comes back to you in
Mhm.
abundance, right? If you look at, and I know it's hard, I'm not discounting the stress, but the stress then attract more
Oh,
lack
it
and
sure
more
does.
stress, right? So, yeah, it's like
And,
all these elements are
yeah, and
working
there's
for
been
you.
times where I had to say, "Hey, guys, we've been incredibly slow." Like, last year, the year before, probably a couple years now, but anyhow, we've been incredibly slow, and I have payroll coming up. I'd love if you guys could stop by and grab a cupcake or 2, and lo and behold, we'll sell out. And people are just so responsive, but it's also not the only thing I'm ever talking about. I rarely ever post those kinds of things. I'm always posting like, "Hey, what can we do? Where can we get out in the community?" or something stupid that I did or said or wrote to someone. So I don't know.
Mm,
I end every live and on our stickers for our bakery, it all says be nice to each other. Um
yeah, yeah,
And especially in our volatile political arena that we've got right now, it's, be nice to each other, we're all in this together.
yeah.
And
That
that
it's
seems yeah.
that's what everyone desperately needs,
Oh,
in
yes.
everywhere.
Oh
Yeah,
my word,
yeah,
it's the most divisive time well, that I've ever lived in the US, and, I'm just trying to be that one person where it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, as long as you're loving on people, come on in.
yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I just want to touch on something before we go.
Okay.
When you talked about, if you have slow weeks or whatever,
Mhm.
you know, you went out and kind of did what you needed to do to bring in sales, right? And
Right.
and that is what running a business is.
Yes.
Whereas, a lot of small businesses take slow sales as a sign that they're not good enough. Uh, Something's wrong
No.
with their
Yeah.
product, and it can spiral from that perspective. Whereas if you just look at your business like a business and it's like, okay, are these slow? How can we inject some sales
Mhm.
into this? You can find a lot of solutions. Even like
Oh my
the other
word,
day, this
yes.
is a side thing, but where I live at this big intersection, the other day, or I think he does it regularly now. There's a Domino's pizza employee at this intersection with a Domino's sign on his in his chest, and he's just dancing, and I'm like, I have not seen that in years, like years, and that has stuck in my mind for months now.
Yeah,
And just that one act puts dominoes in my head permanently.
absolutely.
And even if I don't buy Domino's, I always look at Domino's as a really positive brand just for that one. But,
Yes.
the thought of doing that is cringe, obviously, but you got to
Hey, I
do
wouldn't put
what
it
you got to
past
do.
myself. Desperate times and all.
uh okay. So take hope and love. Like, you really embody that. Like, it's
Thanks.
at the start of this interview, I really was curious why it was called Cake, Hope, and Love. And now I understand, exactly why it's called that. So,
Thanks.
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much
Oh
for
my gosh,
having
it
this
was a pleasure
conversation with
talking with
me.
you.
Uh, yeah, I've taken so much away from just chatting to you, and it's definitely inspired me to kind of step over my fears, and really, go find
You've got a
myself a
great
Jack.
platform. People need to hear what you're saying. So if you need help, bring people along with you so more business owners can hear this and they don't feel so alone in the craziness that's happening. They're not alone and they can keep going. It's okay to push through the hard.